All right, whenever you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. Michael will get started on this end. Okay, if you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat
Yeah,
and I'll get it to him.
we know if we have any online questions today because
Yeah.
we might need them. Okay. So I guess let's get started. I think I have a little bit less today. We should be able to even out the time. But let's see. Let me see. I'll write the whole screen. Lesson 4, out on the town. So this time I want to talk about tips and etiquette around eating, around shopping, and generally things that will be helpful when you are in Japan. You're like not in your hotel, not um, at what you call like attractions or activities. It's just like when you're on your own free time, things that might be helpful. So our topic, how to beat the heat, and talking about dress and other resources available to you, dining tips and etiquette, some numbers and money, and then talking about Christmas in Japan. And at the end, leave some room for questions because, well, I'll talk more about this, but I'm going to be going to Japan at the end of December. So if there's any questions that you're like, oh, I need to know like firsthand, is it going to be this way or that way or something? I should be able to like keep an eye out and respond to those questions more sure than with my just previous knowledge from like 2 years ago. So I can go get some firsthand answers. Okay. So starting out, how to beat the heat. It's Japanese summers are usually pretty warm, like getting into the high 80s and 90s. And with the humidity, it starts to feel crazy, like into the 100 teens. That's with, extra humidity. And the thing about humidity is you can't escape it in the shade. Like the shade only takes away a little bit, but
I feel like you made this one just for me.
it's bad. It was shocking at first. It's definitely something to account for. You can't go and be like, oh, it'll just be like it's Virginia. Like it might be worse than Florida. Like you just gotta be ready for the heat and the humidity.
Can I be hot? I know.
So firstly, I would recommend here, too, as the Romans do, light flowing clothing can be a big help if that's your style. Obviously, t-shirts and shorts, will help you stay cool. But a lot of the like street fashion right now, like just what general people wear and what you might see popular in the like clothing stores right now is like a light and flowy look. And specifically, there is a brand called Airism. Airism is made by Uniqlo, and it's like one of the go-to brands, and other brands will try to mimic the technology for the style of clothing. But it's meant to like keep the sweat off you because they know it's humid and you're gonna be sweaty, and like quick drying, moisture wicking, really nice stuff. They also have like for the winter time heat tech are the names, but yeah, Airism is quite good. So yeah, Airism from Uniqlo, and I'll have some pictures. But basically, they like to make like undershirts. They might make like really light socks. Just things that help so you don't ever feel so bogged down with the humidity. People there just fix it. You can accept it or you can try to fight it a little bit. And there's also cooling gadgets and gizmos. This is something that you will probably see a lot of, like if you go during the summer in Japan, because they like every store will have something like that. The convenience stores, electronic stores, department stores, drugstores, everywhere has something that's meant to beat the heat. And they'll have it usually on sale right in your face. So if you feel like, even with this morning, it's way harder than you expect, and you just need something right now, these will be your go-to places for something helpful. Let's see here. And there's really a wide range of things as well, which I'll go over in the next slide with some examples. But, we're talking fans, both like human-powered fans and electric fans. Those are really great. You have a lot of options there. There's like cooling pads, with, I think it's like methanol or something that you put on it, and it'll give you the cooling sensation, and sometimes that's just all you need is to get some escape from the like all-encompassing humidity. Also like body wipes that'll give you that like menthol tingly feeling. It's quite popular. I don't think they're for everybody. I feel like some people don't like that feeling on their skin and be like if it's an icy hot kind of thing, it bothers people, but I think that can be really useful just so you just don't feel so bogged down, so muddy. Let's see. Oh, and you really want to stay hydrated. I think there are I have a number here. Or maybe it's just my notes. Like thousands of people a year in Japan will get like hospitalized or some kind of treatment for heat stroke or heat exhaustion. And a lot of it is not staying hydrated. It's usually like older people or younger people that have to worry about this, but it's still something to know. If you're on vacation, you're kind of getting caught up in it, you're quite excited, you might forget, stop, sit down, take a breather, find some shade from some water. And I think it's very important in Japan because at times it can feel, really hot, really humid, like a tropical climate. It's only semi-tropical, but once you're in the city, it really feels the heat is extra. Let's see. For that, obviously, convenience stores are great. They have, all your favorite drinks and everything cool in the freezer. Some of them will also freeze entire bottles of the liquid, so you can hold on to that and just stay cool for a few hours instead of you down your sports drink in 5 minutes and then you feel hot again. So that helps as well. Obviously, vending machines are also great there. It's really convenient in the summer that there's vending machines everywhere because whenever you start feeling thirsty, you start feeling a little dehydrated, it's right there. You don't have to worry about when's the next store, when's the next stop. You can just find one everywhere. That's a really big help.
How easy is it to refill water?
Refill, that's a good question.
So if we don't buy like the plastic.
I don't see much of those water fountain like the ones we have here where you stick it in. I don't really see that many. I think in Tokyo you might be able to find a little bit more like at train stations, but I wouldn't count on that for the main thing. Yeah. Don't remember seeing too many of those. It's a lot of disposable ones, like just single-use bottles. I think maybe more common people will buy like the really big, like a 3-liter water bottle, and then refill their smaller one with that. Same amount of plastic basically, but yeah, I'll look out for that when I'm in Japan because I don't recall seeing a lot of people using like reusable, like just a reusable water bottle. But maybe that was more like I was in the countryside kind of thing. But I'll keep an eye out for that next time. Another thing I want to talk about here is for footwear. Obviously, it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid, and you might think just flip-flops, sandals the entire time. But there might be areas in Japan where you visit and you're going to have to like remove your shoes and put on some communal slippers. So for that, if you're going to go sandal flip-flop, you might want to carry a pair of socks with you because the communal flip-flops, I mean, they're communal and you don't want to be sharing slippers with just random strangers probably. So it wouldn't be bad to carry socks if you approach that. Otherwise, like, in the streets, totally fine. People wear flip-flops. It's not like strange or anything, but I would recommend to get something that's very comfortable for walking, because you guys probably know you do a lot of walking when you're in a foreign country like this, and especially Japan, people have the bus, they'll be like you can take the train, but a lot more walking than you might be used to day to day. So, break in your shoes if you're going to get new ones. I had a problem with that last time I went somewhere. I bought new shoes and then went for the first time in London, and just
recently?
Yeah, terrible move. So I learned this time, get them a bit ahead of time and break them in. So that's helpful. Don't learn from my mistakes there.
That's what we're seeing.
Right. I need to get Mila new shoes. She's had the same shoes for the past year and a half now, and she wears them every day.
Here are some examples. We've got the electric fan, And then two different kinds of hand fans. Obviously, you go for the fancier one. That's like more what you would see on display. But you can get that if you want to use it. It's totally fine. And then these are maybe a different style of the hand-powered, human-powered fans there. And you know, you can get a nice design. It'll be something nice to keep, and it'll be really helpful when it's actually hot. That's something to consider.
So Kelly has a question in the chat. Isn't Japan the one place where socks with sandals, even when with ones with the piece between the toes, is totally okay?
Yes, yeah, socks and sandals is totally fine. You see a lot of like, they have toed socks and toed shoes. Sometimes it's just like big toe separated from the rest. Not so much like the every toe has an individual. It's not a glove, but more like foot mittens. You can imagine that.
Like, happy stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
tabby socks
tabby
and tabby
socks.
shoes. But yeah, those are fine if you, yeah, with sandals it's fine, or if you want to get like the traditional wooden sandals, it might be harder to walk, but then the tabby sock is like perfect look for it because it goes together. Yeah, that would be nice. This is Airism, the brand that Uniqlo has. That might be something useful just in a pinch if you're like, I really didn't expect it to be this much, and like I'm just sweating right through this cotton shirt, something like that would be.
So no cotton.
Wouldn't recommend. I mean, no wool either, but that's use your discretion. You know, it gets hot here, so you'll kind of have an idea of how to dress, but it's just be ready for it. Yeah, and I personally, I'd probably like if I'm going in December, I might buy more heat tech just because I like it. It's good quality clothing as well. And then these are some of the wipes and patches and creams and towels I'm talking about. There, you'll see tons of these everywhere. You can see they got the blue color, so you know it's cool. Japan, a lot of advertising things have like random temperatures that I don't quite understand because it's not, it doesn't physically get that temperature, but it makes you feel like that's a temperature, and that's not, doesn't seem like real science here. Or they have like a popular drink in convenience stores that'll say like -159 degrees Celsius. I'm like, that can't be real because anything would freeze at that temperature. It's just too extreme. But don't trust the numbers there on how cool it gets. But those could be really useful as well, just to, you know, get the sweat off and then have a cooling feeling, just to have a break from it. So those are really nice. And again, like it's just a full frozen water bottle from convenience store is part of like my go-to because it's going to stay cool really long. You'll have something to drink throughout the day. And sometimes they have campaigns where they'll give you like a free holder for it, like a little ice, what do you call it? Like a
Koozie.
yeah, like a koozie, like a cooler igloo, like it's reflective on the inside, it's the right material, and they'll have nice designs. So I like getting those in the summer, just because it's like, oh, this is great. It's like a little koozie for the frozen goods. It's nice. Okay, are there any more questions on staying cool? So I think it's just something you don't expect when you get off that plane and you just get hit in the face with it. So, you know, you might not have any of this like immediately.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, it's great.
She doesn't do well with heat.
The weather outside, that's.
So this is basically gonna be your first stop off the plane. You're gonna say, show me the convenience store where you get any of these. These are really great. Like I love, there's just variety, hundreds of these.
The neck brace or.
Yeah, I had one that has like the two fans that you point up the neck. You could also get like the full jackets that have two big fans in the back and it just puffs up. You're gonna look like a construction worker if you get that, but it does help a lot. It actually does really slow you down. I think it's pretty nice too.
Yeah, but if you're taking pictures and you're doing stuff, and that's what I'm thinking, the one around your neck would be better.
Hands free and yeah,
True.
yeah, that's pretty good. I think
And I know you're gonna be taking photos.
it's definitely possible. And then it's only the danger like to have your hair down with fans around your neck, but
Where
yeah.
this comes.
yeah,
All
you
All
gotta
right.
be careful. Don't cause any injuries. I'm not responsible for any injuries with that. Okay. So next, talking about dining tips and etiquette. Let's see. First, and this is on the worksheet at the top here, there's some helpful words, some phrases. So we have here at the beginning of a meal, you've got your food in front of you and you're about to dig in. You're going to say, itadakimasu. Itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu.
Yes. And it basically means I humbly receive, but it's a way to, thank.
So basically, it's just saying thank you for the meal.
Yeah, yeah. Some people will, put their hands together
Eat the
in prayer. So it can be a prayer. It can just be saying it to the chef, saying it to the person giving the food. But that's really nice to say. And you'll hear it everywhere. You'll hear it at restaurants. People just say, "Itadakimasu."
dining tips.
That one's quite useful. Another one you have is at the end of the meal, you completed it. Usually I would say this walking out of a restaurant, like you've already had everything, you've paid the bill and now you're leaving. And it's to say thank you for the meal. Gochiso sama deshita. Yeah, we'll put it up a little bit. So there's gochiso sama deshita. Gochiso sama deshita. And that is thank you for the meal. So if you're not at a restaurant, obviously you could say this at a different time, like your host, thank you for the meal. But that's, so we have before you eat and after you eat. I would say that gochiso sama deshita is good to say when you're leaving the restaurant, because if you walk out of a restaurant and say arigato, it seems like it's just not quite right to say. It's more like if you're saying thank you as you're leaving a restaurant, you're thanking them for the food. It's not just like a thank you in general. So this is a more correct thing to say.
But as a foreigner, I
It's
mean,
fine.
they would be understanding of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, for instance, if you were at anything else, like a store, you're leaving a shop, you're leaving your hotel, just arigato, arigato gozaimasu, those are fine. And then this one specifically, because of its relation to food, would be what you said at a restaurant. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, no, it would be appropriate also just to drop deshita. And say gochiso sama.
That's true. Yeah, this is the more polite version. Like conjugate, well, not the most polite, but conjugated a bit more in the past tense to be polite.
Like
You
if
could
it's
just say,
you know, I would oftentimes just drop it in that one.
yeah, so gochiso sama, or really casual gochiso is just like, oh, thanks for the quick bite or something like that. Like, so yeah, these are like what it'll tell you in the textbook, like the way to say it, and then you can shorten it. Or whatever's easiest, whatever the situation calls for. So yeah, gochiso sama deshita, say gochiso sama, and that kind of ends before you conjugate any verb, and then you get to gochiso. It's like very casual, but yes.
And then I think that it's different from our, like, these are like statements like people always say, like it's all like it's routine, like it's just automatic, I think, in homes and restaurants and when you visit friends and stuff like that. Like it's such a fact like style.
Yeah, like people say it to themselves when they're beginning to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're sitting down,
Even by yourself.
on a park bench.
So people always are thanking
Yeah.
the meal for no matter where they are,
Right.
whether they are eating by themselves, with friends, or even with their coworkers, etc. So it is a tradition. It's part of the tradition.
Yeah, for culture.
So.
It's so
Yeah.
ingrained, it's such a routine.
Yeah, coming back from Japan, I like still thought it in my head for a while before I was like, oh, it's a bit like everyone's about to eat, and in my head I'd be like, it's just like under my breath. It's stuck in my head that you say when you're about to begin a meal.
And like even like leaving the house, coming home, and things like that, like.
Yeah, like iterashai.
Itadashi.
Yeah.
Itekima.
I lived alone, but I would say to my empty apartment.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's my like dorm room.
Yeah, you just say it. There's things like that they're like these specifically, and other phrases are phrases that are just like part of the routine, and you say them kind of in any situation. It would be weird if you didn't. Well, like it wouldn't be weird. Nobody would call you out if you said that to yourself, or didn't.
But they would call you rude if you didn't. Would
uh,
they? Especially if you're out.
Some leniency for.
Yeah, I don't think I
Okay.
would specifically be like, oh, you didn't say itadakimasu. I'm gonna be slow with the refill or anything. But if you want to impress the staff, impress them on your way in, on your way out, these are really good to know. Even if you don't nail it perfectly, like just the attempt. I've noticed that like Japanese staff specifically are really excited if you make the effort. To speak some Japanese, they'll be like, "Oh, that's really nice." Like they came prepared. They must really like Japan. It gives them that impression. So it's
All right.
next one that you might hear a lot at different restaurants use sort of thing is hashi. Hashi. We got the kanji here and then in hiragana here. So hashi. Sometimes you'll hear ohashi, like it's just the o sound in front of it to be more like polite, which you might hear from like restaurants called them ohashi. Hashi also means bridge and run, I think.
Yeah, hashirima.
Yeah. So, but that's why the kanji helps. This kanji only means chopsticks, but hashi, the sounds have other meanings.
Do you know the distinction between like hashi bridge and hashi chopstick? My mom will always try to explain it. I'm like,
Oh, is it
sounds
different in
okay.
intonation? Like hashi.
And I don't know it. I can't do it.
I don't really know it either. I haven't studied the intonations, but this is nice. Like I think when we were covering convenience stores before, I said the phrase that they might ask you is like, "Would you like a bag?" Ofukuro irimasu ka? You might hear that for chopsticks as well. Ohashi irimasu ka? So I feel like if you know those words and you can kind of pick it out from this whole sentence that you don't understand, then you'll know the subject that they're talking about, and then you can kind of infer the rest of the question. Also, body language helps. They'll probably hold up the packet of chopsticks like at a convenience store when asking. Sometimes you might show up to a restaurant and there's nothing on the table. There's no table setting, but there could be like a little drawer. And that's where you might see the label for hashi. You just might pull it, open it, and then you can grab your chopsticks there. Just so you're not stuck thinking, do I have to eat with my hands right there? And I was gonna say the word for spoon and fork, it's like spoon and fork. So if you say spoon and fork, they'll know what you mean. There's no particular need to learn the separate like pronunciation. They'll just know. If you say spoon, it's close enough to spoon that they'll know. See what else. Oh, and a couple of rules with chopsticks. If you look online, they'll tell you that there's a ton of rules for chopsticks, but for the most part, they won't apply, and sometimes they're just things to be aware of. So, yeah, you can ask for spoons and forks. You can ask for them. It's not like they'll be offended if you don't or can't use chopsticks. A lot of places will provide those, and that'll be fine. With an asterisk here, don't rub your chopsticks together. This, the explanation that I've heard and read about it is that you don't want to give the impression that you're using like cheap chopsticks, because if you have like probably the ones you've used before, if they're not particularly nice, they're just like stuck together, you peel them apart, and then they've got like splintered wood all over them, little fibers and stuff.
I did post a blog post last year on chopstick etiquette.
Yeah.
So I will tag that in our follow-up.
Yeah.
Because there's hundreds of different chopstick etiquettes.
There's different styles to use them as well. People will be like, "Oh, that's not the right way to use it." There's many ways to use it, obviously, because different cultures and countries use them differently, but it's the same mechanic. So
those are the main ones there.
Yeah. I would say, don't rub them together. They say don't because it gives, if someone is at a restaurant and you're a host, giving you chopsticks and you rub them together, they're going to think like, oh, they think that they're cheap. But the exception is when you do have cheap chopsticks, like you at a convenience store, at a small like shop, you might actually get really cheap ones that have all those fibers. And in that case, it's totally fine. I've seen people like aggressively rubbing them together or like rubbing them like this. Like that's actually fine if they are cheap chopsticks. No one's going to get offended. They probably won't notice or see you. But just generally like at a restaurant, you don't really want to be playing with them or do anything. Because it's what people eat with. I mean, it's like playing with a fork. It's weird. You're gonna drop it and then it's your waste. Just some key points, some bigger ones. Like don't stand them up directly, like in a bowl of rice, standing up neatly.
That's supposed to be like a offering to your ancestors, right?
Yeah, that's like an offering from this next one as well. They come from like funeral service, funeral
The incense.
traditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Passing things between two chopsticks, like handing it to another pair of chopsticks from pair of chopsticks. that also has the funeral connotation. Because cremation is so common in Japan, like basically everybody gets cremated. They have a tradition of like with some large chopsticks moving, arranging the bones and such that are left over from cremation, and they pass them from chopstick to chopstick. So doing that with food, I'm sure it's nothing to you, but someone might see that and be like, "Ooh, that's sticky." That
It's taboo.
yeah. Crossing them over your dish, kind of the same. Like if you have crossing them over your knife and fork or something here, it's like you're done with the food, you don't want any more. So, usually at a restaurant or something, you'll have a little stand for chopsticks, like just a little wooden block, or sometimes there are other materials if they want to be artistic with it. But you can just put that there arranged neatly in front of you or to the side anywhere. But yeah, you basically don't want to rest your chopsticks crossed on the food, stuck in the food, stuff like that. Which should be pretty easy to avoid if you're just like you wouldn't really do that with a spoon. It's like just stick it right in the middle of your food, maybe. Maybe you will. But just things to keep in mind.
One thing to add, especially like restaurants and stuff in stores too, like when you walk in, like this staff who yells at you.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
Is that right? When you come in and they're just saying welcome.
Yeah. The irashaimase. Yeah.
But they'll like literally yell at you.
Yeah.
But you walk, they're excited, you're there. And it's basically saying like welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you ever see like the big deer in the headlights,
Yeah. You probably should expect at some point getting like an enthusiastic welcome. It's quite loud. Like if you go into like a sushi ramen place where it's smaller,
Yeah.
it'll be the three people behind the counter all yelling it. Like, and it's in unison. So basically, if they hear the little like doorbell go, like the little ding ding, everybody just yells it. Like it's a thing very common in for staff with different places in Japan. So yeah, they're saying irashaimase, and that means welcome. They're just really happy that you're there.
Really happy, very excited.
No, that's quite a good one. That's good. People might be surprised.
It is, it's different
Yeah.
from, an everyday, like typical, like.
Yeah,
Japanese
if you walk in here, you're not like any restaurant you walk into here, you might get a hello, welcome, but you're not going to get some screaming. And also, yeah, you might be like, oh, Japanese people are so quiet, they don't yell. Well, if you walk into the restaurant, they will yell. And you probably, if you go to a Japanese restaurant in America, you might get that as well, because it's something that they want to carry over to be more authentic.
Yeah,
That's what that means. If you've gone and they yelled at you before.
sometimes it can be really like dramatic and like drawn.
Yes, yeah, like older guys, just, the head.
What's it?
Yeah, presentation. It kind of like they want to reflect how enthusiastic and excited they are that you come. So, like, if they
Can't wait.
start a whole song and dance to say welcome, you'd be like, they really want my money.
And now I can start getting that one in my head in addition to like the other cities.
Yeah, that's a good one. I should have put that on the worksheet, but yeah, irashaimase is good. Good to know.
Charlie, if you haven't.
I can't.
So that like basically be prepared for it. So rather than coming in and they're yelling this expression at you and you're surprised, like, what are they saying to me?
At least you'll know what it means. It might still surprise you the first time. No, you don't need to say anything. They're just saying welcome. Your response would be
And
like,
here, if people won't even look up, they'll be like, I'll be with you. And you're like, okay, like
yeah.
you respond. So
I don't think mostly it's like they've acknowledged that you've entered the restaurant, so now you're not going to be ignored. They're not going to be like wait forever to someone to come assist you.
So just like smile.
Yeah. If because obviously everyone in the restaurant knows you're there now, it doesn't take long for someone to be like to come and say, how many, where do you want to sit, and stuff like that. So it's good. I think it's actually a really helpful phrase because it gets the whole restaurant feeling going really quickly. They're like, we see you, come in. So it's quite good. Okay. Let's
All right.
see. What else? Oh, I wanted to touch on different ways of ordering because depending on what kind of places you go to, some of them might be quite familiar. So the big ones are menus, tablets, signs, and tickets. Pretty big, like very familiar with to be a bit different. So with menus, that's just the normal like paper or plastic, whatever menu that you actually get in front of you. That is obviously common in many restaurants. Some places like a conveyor belt sushi or something like that, you might see a tablet in front. I think some like cafes are also getting into tablets, and the ones that'll have like a little robot deliver your food to you, you probably order from a tablet. So those you might be more familiar with. The sign is something you might see at a lot of like more traditional restaurants or smaller places like izakaya. So the sign is basically like a little wooden placard that just says the menu item, and there'll be dozens of them like on the wall. It's usually like a place that has a bar kind of countertop because that's where they draw the attention of for people to look. And they're almost always entirely in Japanese. So unless you've studied up and you kind of know what you want, these will be tricky. It helps Google Translate with your friend there to be able to, if you end up in a place like that, where basically, you know, imagine you've got a table here and just the entire top, the side, the back, everything is just the menu on the wall. And it's all in Japanese, which can be tricky, but just a forewarning, if you go to a place and they don't hand you a menu and there's no tablet and you didn't see a ticket machine, look around because the wall might be plastered with what you're meant to be eating. And then you can just, if you can't read it, ask for a recommendation. That's a
But
good one.
you're right, Google Translate does have like the recognition, the lens
Yeah,
to recognize the
yes.
text,
For that
and it
one,
translates it for you.
yeah,
So
I
you
would-
could take Google Translate out, just hover over a sign or whatever, and it will translate it within that.
yeah, Google Lens camera is really helpful.
Yeah, no, Google Translate.
Like the app.
Yeah,
That.
I didn't know there was an app.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's quite good.
So it will, you could just hover over anything in a different.
Did I just kind of assume Google?
Oh, like on your computer. No, yeah, the app is really good because of that camera function. It has the live translation where you hold it up and like it will actively put the English translation on something. But if you move around, it like, you know, freaks out. It also has you take a picture and you can highlight things, and that like you can kind of narrow down which one you're talking about. Which can be pretty
Google
helpful.
Translate, yeah. Do I use it? No. Because I'm a language teacher and I say don't use Google Translate for anything.
It's good in a pinch. It's really good in a pinch.
But when you
I was gonna say for this.
yeah, if you absolutely
Right.
need it, then in live situations like that, yes, but never in schoolwork.
That's true. You can't study your way into knowing what niche menu that a place is gonna have with all the different ingredients. You know, no one's expected to be like perfect at the language to be able to do all that. So Google Translate helps with the sign. With the ticket system, these are usually smaller places as well. Like a small ramen place or sometimes fried chicken restaurants will have those just because they want you to like, they're all about speed. They're like, give me the ticket, here's your food, get out. So things like that.
So are you marking what you want on the ticket?
So the ticket is you basically get a vending machine, and every item on the menu has a button. And you just put in your money, select everything you want, and you get these little paper tickets, really tiny too, like just a small
It's
thing.
kind of like the McDonald's system. You go in,
And you
they give you a little receipt, and then they call your number
Yeah.
type thing. But
And this will give you like one little piece of paper for every bit that you ordered, and then you just hand that to the person. I think this helps in a lot of places where there's not that many staff, they don't want to handle the money. So they let the machine take all the orders and give you all the tickets. And then when you hand them the ticket, it's usually like just one person cooking there. So they don't even have to touch it. They look at it, they know what they want, and they can hand it to you without ever having to interact with the money and like waste time washing hands, gloves, and everything.
I refuse to use McDonald's for that.
Usually they're like, yeah, it's not like the I don't think I've seen ever like an actual touchscreen one. It's like
It's
a
old
proper
school.
old vending
Yeah.
machine.
Old school. If it's still the same, because it's been
Mhm.
like 20 years.
I'm sure they make new ones, but every restaurant I've been to, it's like the old ones that happen. Also, like,
you have to explain the old versus the,
you know, like the old
Well,
Coke
see, that's
vending
what
machine or
I'm saying.
something that have like that plastic, like the plastic button that would really clunky on a vending machine, like
Yeah.
like that. It's buttons like that. So not so much like the new vending machines with a bunch of weird keypads and alphabet stuff.
So you could just put your things over here and sort of.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, as long as I can do that.
And I say vending machine, but like there's no, you're not looking into the machine. There's nothing like, it's just a panel of buttons.
Right.
And that's what you push for your ticket. If you're lucky, they'll have like pictures,
The plastic food.
plastic food you might see as well,
Like
yeah.
Plastic food. Exactly what it is.
Mhm. And those will have like a name or a number, and then you take that knowledge to the vending machine because you're like, okay, number 12 looked good, and I want the extra rice or something
Okay,
like that.
so again, how dangerous is it to be like Buddy the Elf when he goes into the elevator and he just kicks them all? Because I have a feeling I'm gonna want all of
It's gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
The good thing is they usually like, they'll take a one bill, and probably not the big ones, because you know, it's like a small shop, they probably don't expect people dropping hundreds, so it might be like they only take the 5,000 yen, and you can get as far as that'll last you. Also, a good thing to know on this is it's fine to go back and keep getting more things. I know it might feel kind of weird if you're like a packed, really small place with like only 6 seats or something, and you don't want to like scoot past everybody, but nobody is like, oh, look at this person eating so much. Like they don't care. You go and you get what, if you want more, you get more. So that's totally fine.
Is it a little bit off topic, but also like in relation to the ordering food and stuff, like is Japan still pretty much cash based, like economy?
Yeah, I would say for the most
Yeah,
part.
we had Chuck Lineberger, the guy that calls us for like school delays and all that stuff. He actually went this past summer and he said definitely have cash. I mean, there's yeah.
You know, we've transitioned so much here in the US
Mhm.
away from.
Mhm.
I feel like that, you know, is there.
I think like convenience stores can take cards. They'll take the like different, I see like tap cards for like that you can load money on and those things. Obviously smaller places, you won't see many like the square readers at a small place unless it's like a newer kind of shop that's opened up. But some of the older places, it's all cash only. So I would recommend carrying a good amount of cash.
Like you're saying, the vending machines, like you put your money in, you choose your thing and then get the tickets. It's all paid for and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, cash is definitely still useful.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm taking a good amount of cash on my trip, and I'll let you know how often I get to use the card. That'll be a good.
He's actually going here at the end of the year, so.
Yeah, going- yeah, like Christmas to New Year's. That'll be good.
That'll be fun.
I'm okay. Hoping it's more fun than both.
I spent New Year in Japan.
Yeah.
So, and I was in Kyoto for New Year, so we did all the temples.
Ooh, that's
and
really
stuff,
good.
And then get the Toshikoshi Soba at
Mhm.
midnight, so.
All of my previous like Christmas, New Year's were always just like in my apartment, something like friends gathering or something like that. So we didn't do any big ones. I never went like out to Shibuya or something for New Year's. This time I'll be in Tokyo for Christmas and Osaka for New Year's, which should be a good combo, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's gonna be really cold. Like
It
nobody wants to do
it
New
was
Year's thing
so-
when it's so cold out.
It was cold. It was really cold New Year's Eve.
But I'll like,
Go ahead.
sorry, I'll take pictures and everything. That'll be, you'll be able to see how cold it is. when
Yeah.
I'm shivering and an ice go down my nose or something. Let's see.
The temperature is actually pretty, like, the latitude is about the same here as in Virginia, especially Osaka.
Yeah,
Tokyo,
yeah.
Osaka. So like this is kind of similar.
That's what I told my friend. Expect basically Virginia weather. I have a friend who's coming from Boston. I was like, it's not as cold as that. Don't worry about that.
And watch it be as cold as that.
It probably will be, yeah. Or it'll be like,
You never know.
knowing how these seasons play out here, it might be an 80-degree winter. Who knows? Like, you never
Yeah,
know
that's true.
these days. I did want to touch on, yes, the plastic foods you might see in in front of a lot of restaurants. Those are really great. And usually the food will come out actually looking like the model, which is such a relief. Like it's not like you see a plastic Big Mac and then you get whatever they squished into the box at McDonald's. So pretty reliable that you can look at that food and think that is what you're going to get and look at the whole dish.
In my university, so I went to Kansai Gaidai in Osaka. And But yeah, even at like my school cafeteria, like like their food looked like the plastic food that was displayed, like it looked exactly the same.
Yeah, and yeah, if you
There's
see
no
like,
deceivement.
if you see food in the window, it's probably not like some 3D old thing that they put together. It's probably just a plastic model that's been there.
The
For
first time I
years.
took him to Sal's, he wanted to know why the ice cream wasn't melted.
Oh, just, yeah, that's good, yeah. Look out for those. Those are really helpful too. If you can't read the menu, you can also just point and go, I want that. And a good word, talking about the signs, if you really can't, like, you don't have the app, you can't take a guess, but you're in one of the places you do want to eat, you could always ask for the recommendation. And the word for that is ososume. O-S- I gotta write it down.
Osusume.
That's what it is. It's O-S-U-S-U-M-E.
O-S-U,
Osusume.
O-S-U-S-U.
M-E.
Emmy, I got it.
For some reason, I always want to say ososume, but I don't believe that's right. Look it up.
And what's it
Osusume.
asking?
That means recommendation.
Recommendation.
If you could put it in the form of a question, it would be ososume wa nan desu ka? Basically,
Nan desu
what
ka?
is your recommendation? Or you can just
Osusume.
say ososume with an inquisitive tone.
Nan desu-
Ososume. Yeah, really hold that E at the end. Ososume. And they'll know what you mean. That's quite a good word, ososume.
Osusume wa nan desu ka?
And then,
Osusume wa
Uh,
nan desu ka?
see, I think I do have something. Oh, a helpful one as well is if they have an English menu, you want to ask if they have an English menu. Here's the phrase for that. That one's also at the top of the sheet.
Ego
So-
no menu wa. So you're asking, do you have a menu?
Yes, you have an English menu. So the Japanese word for English is eigo. Eigo. So to say an English menu, it's eigo no menu.
Ego no
menu.
menu.
Menu is the same. You can say menu, you could say menu, like,
Arimasu ka?
but it's a longer U, so it's basically menu. So, eigo no menu
Wa
wa arimasu ka?
aremasu ka?
And ka, there's the question, it's very important. So, eigo no menu arimasu ka? I guess you don't always need the wa. Eigo no menu arimasu ka? Eigo no menu wa arimasu ka? So that's a really helpful one to know.
Ego.
And yeah, this is a good phrase to learn as well, because you can see how Japanese uses the three alphabets intermingled into the same sentence, where you have kanji, then you've got one hiragana used as a particle, then katakana, and then back to hiragana for the rest of the conjugating of verb. And if it was all written in the same system, it would be really hard. There's no spaces. So that's why it's helpful. Eigo no menu wa arimasu ka?
Kelly says, can we take a picture of the food we want and say kudasai?
Oh, like if it was the plastic foods in front, I think that would help. Yeah, I mean, it's the same as pointing at a menu. But yeah, if they have like the big thing in front and you're like, oh, that's the one I want, it wouldn't help, it wouldn't hurt. Take a picture, just say this one, please.
Kudasai?
Yeah, for that one, I probably would say onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu?
Like that one. Because that, I feel like it has more of like, and this is my order. Or this, please. Okay, let's see what else we've got. So yeah, do you have an English menu? Eigo no menu wa arimasu ka? To touch again on allergies and any food restrictions you might have, I would say that Japan has gotten better because of the preparation up until the 2020 Olympics. When were they supposed to be? I know they got delayed. 20 something Olympics in Tokyo.
2022, wasn't it?
Is it 2022?
Wasn't
I
it
think that's
just,
when it happened, but it was supposed
Yeah.
to be 2020.
Yeah.
yeah,
Or 2021, something like that. But yeah, because of that, like hotels, everything got better at English, at different requests that they didn't used to have. So I think people now are better suited for dietary restrictions. I think.
So would it be better, I think about 20 copies of whatever the form is that we shared last year?
Yeah.
And I figured we would laminate a couple of them and then just have copies and that. If I went and I asked for the susume and then held that up, if that would help identify something that would be safer for him to eat.
Right, I think that would help. And then a classic symbol for saying that you absolutely cannot have something is just like crossing your arms or crossing your fingers. Like it is a very clear symbol that they know that that's no go. If you point at, the allergy card and you give them the X, I mean, there's no question about it. They know you can't do that.
But that's why that's. why I
Yeah,
have
that
like
one's really
20
helpful.
copies.
Yeah. So yeah, but my recommendation would be like carry the card. I think that's a good move to have one laminated or a couple just in case anywhere you go, and then handing them out as well. If it's just on the fly, it would help to know the Japanese word for what the allergy is, specifically the allergen, I guess. And then the phrase you would want is, like, blank, whatever allergy is. No arerugi. Allergy in Japanese is arerugi. Arerugi.
Because they don't say else.
Yeah, there's no
Allergy.
else. We just make them all parts. Arerugi.
That's just,
Garimasu.
Okay.
Arirugi.
He's gonna have a whole lot there between two things.
Yeah, in that case, the card is probably a good move, just 'cause it's really concise. And it's, already clearly written in Japanese, not to worry about that. But a good one to know, just to call out. I would also say, like, if you have food restrictions like halal, kosher, stuff like that, Japan has gotten better for that as well. You can find halal restaurants and things. So if you had like an allergy to some seafood, you just want to avoid meat altogether, it would be possible to find like a vegan option or vegetarian like that. They've gotten better at that. Blank no alergy ga.
So you're basically saying allergy to this.
Yeah, I have this allergy.
All right.
Maybe.
We keep taking you off track. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. We have all the questions.
Next one is numbers.
Yes.
There you go.
There we go. So for numbers, we don't have a bunch of time. I guess we started a little bit late, so we can go a little
We
bit.
started
but
15 minutes late today.
yeah, let's get these going, and then probably won't have time to like practice very much, but that's fine. So you can see the number in number form, then we've got them in Bonagi, so you can stand, and then the kanji, which isn't immediately useful, but if you see these, you sometimes will see prices written with the kanji numbers instead of this. It's not everywhere, but it helps to be able to see, like, if you see two lines and then 0, 0, or the zeros when they do it in that style is more like a perfect circle. So 2 circle circle, that's saying 200. Like for a price and stuff like that. So it can help to learn those. But going over the number readings, first I'll just read through and then we can talk about this. So for 1, it's ichi. Ichi. Ichi is 1, represented just as in the line. 2, we've got ni.
Ni.
So ichi ni.
Ichi ni.
3 is san.
San.
So ichi ni san.
Ichi ni san.
4 has 2 different readings, and that's what we talk about here. So there's yon and shi.
Yon and shi.
The use case for them, I have a note here. Oh yeah. So basically the one you see in front, the yon, and for here, the nana, is what is usually used and like in speaking everything, and she, the second pronunciation for this and this, have they're more like when you're counting something. So if I was counting, objects, people, anything, then you would go like ichi ni san shi, or because it's just like that's the use for it. But if you're just saying the number, you go with the first one. It's yon.
So if I say ichi ni shi.
Yes, yeah, you're counting people. So
Okay.
ichi ni san shi.
Okay.
go like that. So, and the same up to 7, you would say like shichi to count 7 things. But
Okay,
if you're just saying the number 7, which you'll see most of the time, like in price and everything, it's going to be the first one.
the yon and
So I would say like, it's good to know both, but the first one is the most important.
Okay.
So before it would be yon,
yon.
yon. So ichi, ni, san, yon.
Go,
Number 5 is go,
go,
go. So we've got ichi, ni, san, yon, go.
roku.
6 is roku, roku. Roku, like the
The streaming
stream
device,
thing,
yeah.
So you could say roku, roku.
Roku.
Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku.
No, no,
7 is nana,
no, no.
nana, or shichi if you're counting things. But nana, it's got the rhyming is perfect. So
Hachi,
ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana. 8 is hachi,
hachi,
hachi. So ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi.
hachi, Q.
Yes, number 9 is Q, Q. It's got 2 U's, but it doesn't really matter if you elongate that much, because when you're counting, you're going fast anyway. So ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi, Q. And then number 10 is Ju. Again, the 2 U's for like a longer sound. So ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi, Q, Ju.
Go, Q.
Okay.
Roku, Q.
And here's the explanation there, yeah.
Nana,
Of course, some
Ju.
have different meanings depending on the context.
Ju.
And to
Ju.
make longer numbers, above 10, I will say 0 can be 0, 0. There's for the kanji, it could be called day. That means like the kanji that means 0, but it's a whole complicated thing. You most likely will just see the number 0 or a circle. So to put numbers together, there's a little explanation here at the top row. So ju ichi, basically you're going off of the base 10 for adding and multiplying here. So to say 10 and then a number, you're adding that number to it. If you say a different number before 10, you're multiplying them. So for instance, I'll just pretend it's saying 12. Ju ni is 12. Ni ju is 20. So depending on where the number
order.
goes, depending around the ju, the 10, which is like the base here. The same thing applies to 100, 1,000, 10,000. So it goes off of the tens place. So for instance, these are useful here. So from 11, we would put the 10 ju, and then 11 ju ichi, 10 and 1. Ju ni, 10, 2. Ju san, 10, 3. You really are just saying both numbers there. 10, 3, ju san. Ju yon, ju go, ju roku, ju nana, ju hachi, ju kyu. Now, if you're, let's say, yeah, you've gone there, you want to go above, now to say 20, after you've said 10, 9, 20, it wouldn't be like 10, 10. You would say 2 10s. So 2 times 10. So then you have niju, sanju, yonju, goju, rokuju, nanaju, hachiju, kyuju. And of course, combining those then afterwards. So 21 is 20 and 1. So you say it's basically like 2 10s, 1. Niju ichi, 2 10s and 1.
And 2.
Niju ichi.
Gotcha.
Let's see what the last row says. Okay. Niju ichi, sanju ni, yonju san, goju yon,
Gochu yon.
rokuju go, nanaju roku, hachiju nana, kyuju hachi, and 100 is hyaku.
Yeah.
Hyaku. So with hyaku, that's another like multiple of 10. So you want to go off of that. The same rules apply.
So it'd be ni shaku.
Right. 200 would be
San
ni
hyaku.
hyaku.
Sanyaku.
Yeah,
We changed
it changes and you don't have to worry about that right now. Like, three, for some reason,
Okay.
the way, like I said with the 1010 before, sometimes they change just for easier pronunciation. So three, you would think is sanhyaku, 300, sanhyaku,
But it isn't.
but it isn't. It's sanbyaku. They add the little
Yeah.
1010 on the side because I think they just realized when the language was forming that those sounds flow into each other better, an S into a B as opposed to an S into an H. So
Okay.
sanhyaku, people will understand what you mean. It's not like you're speaking a completely different word, but the correct is like sanbyaku.
Sanyaku.
The same, I think it was like six. You wouldn't say
It wouldn't be
it wouldn't be
Rokuyoku.
rokuhyaku, it would be
Rokuhyaku.
ropyaku.
Yaku, it goes to P.
Yeah, ropyaku. It's one of those things where they just, it sounds, it's easier to say when they change it like that, so they have. But if you said rokuhyaku, they know what you mean. It's good that this is the only one that starts with an R, so when it's different, you know that they're talking about six.
Okay.
Nanahyaku, 8 is the same, where it loses kind of the end half, and it's hapyaku, 800,
Hapyaku.
hapyaku. And then
Like
kyukyaku.
Hapkido.
And then if you have 10 100s, you now go into 1,000. And the word for that is sen.
Sen.
Sen, S-E-N. So
Sen.
here we go.
Sen.
So sen
Man.
is 1,000. For 10,000, man.
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 So would it be Niman for
yes,
20?
that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
ni man for 20,000 yen. And I was going to say these higher ones are actually useful to know because the money, the exchange rate is so high that like
Right.
if you are paying, you know, if it was, let's say sen yen or sen n, which is good the yen. I'll go over that in a minute. Then, you know, what is that, like $7 something, $6? So you might see a lot of things going into the man because then that's closer to like $60.
Okay.
You know, if you're spending food.
So would it be Rokuman?
Rokuman, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The hyaku is weird because of the H, and it changes a lot,
Okay.
but these don't change
All right.
as much.
So
And to
Niman,
say
Sanman,
yen, it's N. They just kind of drop the Y. And they have a different symbol. You can see either of these. So this is like the monetary symbol that you might recognize, like used
Mhm.
internationally. And then this is the kanji meaning, and the kanji itself means circle, but I think it started to denounce like a coin. You're saying the value of the coins that you have, they're just circled. So, and this is the symbol you might also see on a price tag. Like I've
Okay.
seen that just as often as the other.
Niman. Sanman. Rokuman.
Yeah, and then obviously if you're spending a lot of money, the numbers start getting high.
So Cuman, I'm spending lots of money with Cuman.
Human, yeah.
That's out of my price range.
I think like I had a teacher that would teach with me, and whenever the kids like they wanted like her to sign something for her, she would always be like, yes, that's hyakuman and hyakuman. So that's 110,000. It's 1,000,000 yen. And obviously, you know, the kids freak out like but it's good, like they go together like that. You can say Juman for 10,000. You could say hyakuman for 110,000. And then let's see, just so I had here to like go over some of them, but I don't know if we have too much time. I might just skip, but yeah,
It's already 7.
we'll get practice at a later time. We can do that more with some money and some examples. But how about practice?
I'm gonna get a flip grid for everybody so we could do practice.
Well, I'm thinking, we're gonna have to get like a lyre, like he has with all his musical instruments, we'll just laminate all of this, and we'll go up there every single stroke, and then start reading off.
Well, the good thing is it's a really long flight, so you have plenty of focus and practice there. So talking about Christmas in Japan, I will be there this time. So Japan is largely Buddhist and Shinto in their practical like way that they practice religion, but for the most part, not everybody. It's not those religions, for the most part, are not something that you practice like every day. It's I think Buddhism has been described as like the wedding and funeral religion, because for weddings they'll have a Buddhist wedding, and then a Buddhist funeral kind of thing, and then Shinto for other moments in life. Like they have a 3, 5, 7
Birthday celebrations.
celebrations
Yeah.
for those different birthdays and stuff like that. So it's a bit different. But because of that, there's not a huge like Christian presence for Christmas to be a thing, but it still does exist in a different form. So instead of having like a big religious connotation or being about like family, Christmas is usually seen as a couple's holiday, like Valentine's Day. So on Christmas, you'd probably just hang out with your significant other, go on like a nice date, something like that.
Chris, Kelly says Christmas is something for couples, right?
Yeah.
Couples like to go out to eat on Christmas Eve and they love KFC and strawberry cake.
Yes, so that is one thing that a lot of people might know. I think we have it here. Oh, maybe next one. Yes, so KFC and Christmas cake are kind of like the stereotypical images there. Yeah, I think that it
We
is
love
actually just
KFC.
a really good ad campaign that like nailed it. I think KFC Japan said like,
Is it like American games?
it's the same, the same
It's the same
restaurant.
company. Yeah.
So yeah, it is like you get like a special bucket or platter of fried chicken, and you have to order them like weeks in
advance.
advance. Yeah, because they run out and they like day up they won't have it.
We're not expecting you to ever say those words.
Yes.
Ever.
KFC has a strong brand in Japan for no reason. Like in Osaka, the
They do
Hanshin
in
Tiger
Korea
baseball
too.
team has a curse of the Colonel, because there was a KFC restaurant with a Colonel statue in front that they like some fans got rowdy after baseball game, threw it in the river, and they never won again for like 40 years. They broke the curse this year. I think this year the Hanshin Tigers broke the curse. They won their, I think like the Japan baseball.
The Major League,
Yeah,
like
yeah, in Japan. And then people were like celebrating, jumping into
the World
the river
Series,
in
I guess is what you
Osaka.
call it.
Yeah, the World Series. So yeah, those are good. I would say some cultural aspects also remain. So they'll have light illuminations, decorations everywhere. You'll see Santa pictures everywhere. It's quite nice. Kind of different than here, but you will still see it. So that's kind of nice. The Christmas cake, I will say, is just like a white cake with strawberries. I don't think it's anything like particular, but those can be nice. I'll try to get those and get a picture of them. I'll definitely try to get a picture of like the special KFC stuff everywhere. Yeah. And I don't think it's anything special. It's really just like,
It's
here's
just KFC.
KFC, here's like a side of mashed potatoes. Like it's the same, but they like it. That was a good marketing campaign there.
So really just white cake with strawberries.
Yeah.
That's Christmas cake.
Yeah, Christmas cake is just like, I guess because the white and the red, it looks like Santa Claus.
I'm flabbergasted.
You could replace it with Valentine's Day. And you'd be like,
But
well,
their
that's
cakes are
interesting.
different in Asia though.
It's more like French decorating.
Yeah.
It's still flabbergasted.
Like I would love to have some of the cakes that they have in Asia.
Or the bread.
Yes.
Just like the cheesecake. I never liked Japanese cheesecake
Oh, really?
because it's like if they made cake like a sponge cake with cheese in it,
Uh-huh.
it tastes like cheesy bread, not
Oh.
cheesecake.
Yeah,
Not
we don't
my
want that.
favorite, But that's just like the usual cheesecake I saw.
Kelly says it's not appropriation, it's adoption and appreciation.
I think so, yeah.
Let them have KFC.
KFC is good.
I'm not expecting that. No.
It's really out there. I think they just said like, as an ad campaign, they were like, Americans love KFC for Christmas. And the Japanese were like, cool, let's do that. And then nobody ever fact checked that wasn't true. But
That's amazing.
it's great. I'll definitely get the pictures.
Yes.
And then because it's kind of like Valentine's Day, and a little bit like Christmas here, like it's just time for shopping. Everywhere will have specials. Everywhere has, running some campaign, and not really a religious context. Although there are still like Catholic churches, Christian churches that exist in Japan.
Such a large, such a small.
Mhm.
percentage.
It's really small. Yeah.
Really, really small. I guess that's why they don't have like, they don't have the
No, all of that I understand. It's the KFC that is going.
I think there is like, people say that like Japan basically has no religion. That's not true. Like they have Buddhism, they have Shintoism.
Absolutely.
There are Christians and Muslims and Jewish people everywhere. I think like, you know, if you go in Roanoke, I'm Catholic, so when in Roanoke, there's like 5, 6, 7 Catholic churches. In Japan, I had to drive like an hour for one. That's just, you know, it's just not even as common.
Sure.
And compared to like a Baptist church here, you know, there's you can throw a stone.
You know, you wouldn't be able to find a Buddhist temple here as easily as you would.
Right. Exactly, yeah, it's basically the other way around.
Yeah.
And then there's also like historically, they didn't like Catholics, kick them out, imprison them, enslave them. That's way back. Nobody's still mad about that.
Way back in colonization times.
Right, yeah. 14, 15, but whatever. Okay, and then I think that's basically all. So just to finish up, if you guys have any questions, things that you want me to look out for in Japan, I'll take notes of that. Yes.
This came up over the weekend, only because I was talking with a girlfriend of mine who's gonna be traveling over spring break, and she was telling me that she has a typhus vaccination sitting in the fridge that she is scared to take.
The
Is there
vaccination.
That like, yeah, did you have to do anything before you went to go teach? Is there anything that we need to be aware of before?
There's one vaccination that people recommend you get in Japan, but it's more like recommend when you're going to spend long times in the country. I forget what it is specifically. It's some kind
The
of
encephalitis?
maybe, yeah. I think
Okay.
Japanese encephalitis.
That like really pops up. That and Hep A, but honestly, if you're going anywhere, you should have Hep A,
Yeah.
so.
I would say, yeah, it's possible you might, if you want to be extra careful to get the encephalitis vaccine, that if you tell your doctor you're going to Japan,
And
they
it's
should recommend it.
bad. Like mosquitoes friggin' love them, so.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you gotta know your situations, but I believe I got one just because it was recommended, but I've never heard of anybody getting
Okay.
Japanese encephalitis. Like,
So everything else should be like, okay.
yeah, I think like, you know, if you've got your measles, your mumps, your all the polio,
The
you've got all your
MMR.
normal vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just everything you get like as a baby. Yeah, but I would say it's not entirely necessary to get the encephalitis one. It's the travel recommendation. But if it's like, you know, if it's spread by mosquitoes and you go in the summer, that's more of a risk than going in the winter and stuff like that.
Just figure it out.
I'd say, yeah, you're gonna have to make that choice yourself, but I don't think it's actually a great risk.
So question from Kelly, I would like to know how the Suica card shortage affects life now and how prevalent are masks currently?
Yes, that's a good question. I'll definitely keep an eye out on that. I know that the Suica cards at the airport, you can still get them for visitors and they only last like 28 days. So visitors should be fine as long as they maintain that stock. But basically, because there's a chip shortage, the cards that you use for tapping into, you know, subways, metros, trains, everything. And you can also, that's the one that I said you could pay for it at a convenience store. You can use it to pay for vending machines. They aren't making new ones except for visitors can get them. So you should be fine, you know, given if the situation there doesn't deteriorate and they like say, oh, we're all out, we can't make any. But you should be fine. And I'll definitely keep an eye out on how many masks are being used. I would assume about the same as how
Before.
it always was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should probably bring one just in case. Yeah.
If nothing
It's
else,
just
go to
like
the airport.
masks were a thing before COVID over there. So that's
Masks are
definitely
still
still
a
going
thing.
to be a
Yeah.
thing after.
All I know is that all of the idols that I see on and all of the current things that I'm seeing on like Instagram and Facebook, a lot of them are still masked.
Yeah. And sometimes
So.
it's like a fashion statement as
Yeah.
well. Like people,
Or just trying to hide.
yeah, obviously, yeah, a celebrity will wear them.
It
So
that's
that's
for a
good.
clean one each day.
And what did I just say?
Suica.
Suica card, yeah.
Suica.
I always forget Suica because it's regional. Tokyo area uses Suica. I
You
didn't
say
use it, so
Suica
I
and I'm
forget.
thinking Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Suica.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Suicas.
I think of watermelon because it means watermelon in Japanese
really?
as well. The Suica. And I'll
The Oyster
get
card.
Yeah. it's like-
In London.
Yeah, I can actually get one. I just tap with my phone the whole time.
Oh, really?
Oh,
We got the Oyster card
The
just
tap is
because.
great. I wish everywhere had it like London. You can tap anything, anywhere, and it just gets you in.
Don't they have that in Japan?
Not as much.
Oh,
You can get, that's a good thing, actually. You can get a Suica app on your phone.
Yeah.
And that acts as a Suica, but it doesn't take like, they don't take like debit or credit cards
Oh.
yet.
okay.
It's like, I don't know. It seems like they would have the technology, but that's not quite a thing. I'll keep an eye out on that
All
for
the
sure.
all the K-dramas have it, the app,
There was something I said before that I would, Christmas cake and the KFC.
Christmas cake. Take a photo of the Christmas cake.
Yeah.
Seriously, just a sign of a KFC, just
Cake.
blow my mind again.
It'll be great. I mean, you'll see basically Colonel Sanders, like they have statues a lot in restaurants, dressed like Santa Claus, like with the hat and everything.
A photo of
It's
that,
great.
Michael, that is
Yeah.
your homework.
KFC for sure. Then, let's see, so yeah, any
Yeah,
other
but-
questions there, anything to look out for? Let me know.
Kids, got questions for Michael?
Anything?
He's going to Japan here for Christmas and New Year's. Anything you'd like to see or have a question about?
Any photo requests?
No, photo requests?
What do you want to do?
No?
That's all right. If you think of anything, what would be the easiest way to get them to me? I get like on Facebook would be good.
Facebook, email?
Mhm. Email works as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can share that information.
Okay, so I'm
on
gonna be
summary.
nosy. You were talking. about
So Danielle says, as far
I'm
as
going to
chargers,
Cody Bolo. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they're so excited when I talk about doing class here. They're like, you go to the high school every month? I'm like, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
question from Danielle. She says, as far as chargers and plugs, is there a Japanese standard or similar to US plug? There's a Japanese standard. It's not similar to the US plug at all.
The two-prong plug works.
It does?
Yeah. just
Okay.
Like you might have like at the end of your iPhone charger, the two-prong works. It's not like, you might not need a huge adapter like Australia, UK, all those.
Uh-huh.
There is something with the voltage being different between East Japan and West Japan. So it might be worth it to like go to the convenience store and get a brick from there. But I have a brick from there that I use here, and it is the same. Like the two-prong works, the three-prong is harder to find. Like with the ground.
Yeah. With
but it's
the third one,
Yeah, that's like the third.
the
one.
third prong.
But if you have something that's two-pronged, like a phone charger should be, that usually will work fine. And if not, you can get them at the convenience store and it should work coming back.
Okay. And Kelly wants to know, have you been to Tokyo Plaza?
Tokyo Plaza. Doesn't ring a bell.
It has the big mirrored entrance with the escalators. If you see that,
Oh,
she says, please let
I
us
wonder
know
if that's
if it is
new.
the same.
I know of it. It's in Tokyo and it's in one of the major train stations. I
Okay.
haven't been there. But I'm not sure if it's actually like brand new after I left. It seems like it's really new because I saw pictures of it like more recently.
Okay.
Uh,
There's another one for you. Tokyo Plaza.
I just know it as like the very mirrory escalator entrance.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got good questions in the chat today.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get all the answers and more.
All right. Any other questions, concerns? Yes.
At the time of year we'll be going, we'll be doing watermelon, because I just wanted to ask if that's my favorite food.
Yes, definitely. Summer is the perfect time for watermelon. Yeah. I'd say you might want to start saving now because watermelon is really expensive in Japan. Like a big watermelon here at the grocery store is like maybe $3 for a big one. Over there, it might be $3 for like a slice
Oh.
or $10 for a slice.
Whoa.
They have your allowance, yeah, but it's so good for the summer heat to get away with.
So good. The fruit is so good.
Yeah, it's just pricey.
It's so pricey. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen like $100 strawberries and things like that, yeah.
But like, when I would walk at the grocery store and there'd be a table of strawberries, you can smell it from like just a few feet away.
Oh, yeah, I
You
mean,
can smell like the sweet.
the quality is always out of this world because it's so expensive.
All right.
So much money on fruit.
Oh, no, it's crazy.
Well, ladies, thank you for joining on the in the virtual world today. I will send out this recording. There's lots of good stuff in there today. Kelly says, thank you, Sensei.
Thank you for watching.